Hi, good morning, everyone. Great to see you here. Thanks for hanging out with me at my channel. I'm Dr. Andrea O'Connor, and today I think I'm going to have an information-packed video. So excuse my haggard appearance. I went to a wonderful wedding last night, and it was beautiful seeing old friends, and one of our good friends' son just got married, and it was wonderful. So just having the after effects of it now. All right, let's start with the fun stuff. I wanted to show you what I think about the newest Kindle. If you're a book reader, book lover like me, I could read anywhere. I just love reading so much. And so if you're like me, anytime there's a new Kindle, I'm wondering if it's the right one. Well, I did order the Kindle Scribe. I have a cover on it. So basically, look how big the screen is. Now, I think this screen is advertising other books I can get, but I'll kind of show you why I love this new Kindle. For one, look at the size of it. It's about the size of an iPad. And I enjoy the small Kindles because you can put them in your purse, you can put them in a coat pocket, and I'll still use my small Kindles. They're lightweight, they're great. But sometimes don't you just want a big screen? I feel you can fit more letters on the page, so you... I know, champagne problems, right? So you don't have to constantly be turning the page. And I like that you can fit a lot of books on one page at once just to see what you're interested in. Now, let me show you something. So this one comes with a pen. Now this is kind of neat because, okay, I'm going to try to show you. We're going to go to the home screen. So now we're on my home screen. So I was reading a Stephen King book, Billy Summers. It's okay. But here's the great thing you can do with this. Oh, it's so bright. Here's the letters, right? You can see that. So now you can click on this little Post-it note right there. We're going to click on that. Okay. Are you going to open? Let's see. Open Post-it note. Maybe because I had just opened it. Well, now I got to... Oh, I know why. You have to click where you want to stick a Post-it note. So say I want to put it right here. So I'm going to click there. And then, suppose it's hard to do this backwards. Is that working? Let me try it with this hand. Okay. Click where we want the Post-it note. I want it right there. There, see? Okay. This Post-it note just opened. And you can write a note like, hey, okay, book. Or, whatever. Because sometimes when you're reading something, you want to put a note in there. I don't know. I kind of still like writing on Post-it notes and sticking it in a book, but this is the new feature on the Kindle Scribe. Hence, because you can, again, write little notes on it. And then when you're done, it'll just save the little, it'll make a little page. I'll show you the icon right there. And then if you click on that little icon, your Post-it note opens up. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Will I use this? I don't know. Maybe. I do love this pen it comes with, and I've been using that pen just to change pages or go back to the home screen. And so it's kind of been fun using the pen. It's just something new and different. I should probably take this out of the cover so you can see what this really looks like. Let's see. Once I got it in the cover. How did I get that in here? Now I got to remember how I got it in the cover. Because, boy, this is a very secure cover. And I literally... How did I get you in? Oh, that flaps down. I see. Okay. Okay, let's pop this out. Because on my other Kindles, does not have a cover. So here's what it looks like without the cover. Reminiscent of an iPad. It has that metal... that gunmetal gray color. Yeah, right there. Metallic, whatever. So you can see how thin it is. So that's how thin. And then this big screen. It doesn't have the buttons on it to change the page anymore. It does not. So you can either scroll the page turn or you can use the pen and click it, which is fine because that's more reminiscent of a book. You have to turn the page with your hand. And then, let's see, I'm going to go to my library. And that's almost, I was going to show you something else. It's almost done downloading. Let's go to notebooks. Okay, another thing you can do on the bottom tab here, see how it says notebooks? You can click on that. Let's do that. We're going to click on that, and then this page opens up. And on this page, you can just write notes. You can just keep a notebook of notes because you have your little pen. I think that's kind of fun too if you're in, I don't know, a hotel, at the beach, in a cafe, whatever, and you're like, oh, I didn't bring any paper, I don't have a pen. You can just take notes with your Kindle. So I kind of love that multifunctionality. I think that's kind of great. So let's go back to the home screen. Is this other thing ready yet? So what I'm trying to do is download an Audible book. I am an Audible member, love Audible, because again, if you're a book lover, you just want a ton of books, and it's nice to lay down and listen to a book when you're too tired to read. Okay, I think this one is downloaded, so let's open it. See how, okay, so this is how it looks. So you got your chapters there. You can go forward, you can go back. See how it says 30 seconds forward, back, and the play button. Let's see how this sounds. Where's the volume? Please pair a Bluetooth audio device to listen to Audible or use the Voice View screen reader. Huh. Okay, so it looks like I would have to put my headphones on. Again, I'm trying this with you. I have not tried this feature out yet. Now, what happens if no Bluetooth connected? Yeah, so I guess no speakers then. All right, well, that's good to know. So you'd have to have, is there a speaker port to put headphones? No, there is not. Unless my headphones would plug in there, and they might. All right, so I'd have to have my wireless headphones, which I have some, and see if they connect. Okay, well, I guess I won't do that right now. But, oh well, you can put your Audible books on here and then put headphones on and then listen to them. But it says you could look at it with, use Voice View screen reader. Well, okay. Not really sure how to do that, but I guess I'll have to play around with that. Now let's click on more, any other features. Web browser. Oh, so you can get onto Goodreads from here, it looks like. Let's click on that. I'll show you what that looks like. Goodreads, as you know, is other people commenting on the books you like. So let's see. Here are some suggestions based on your rating. See a book you like? Tap want to read. Okay, so it's just loading up a bunch of books. And if you can put want to read, that's kind of cool. It's like suggesting books to you. I do kind of like that. It's kind of having your own little AI. Download free samples. Here are samples of books you marked want to read. And again, well, that's the case anyway. If you're on Amazon, you could always download a free sample. Love doing that. Oh, that's kind of cool though. So I've never heard of any of these books, and it's recommending all these books to me. So that's fun. I haven't played around with that. So that's kind of a fun thing. Now, let's go back to the home screen and see what else you can do. Web browser. Let's see what it's... Okay, so supposedly, here's the sites that's going to let me browse on the web. We have Amazon, Wikipedia, Google, Yahoo, New York Times, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know. Let's check out Google, because I do go on Google a lot. Oh my gosh, Google search comes up. Let's try it. This is kind of cool because my other Kindle does not let me search on Google. Let's look up, how about wireless earbuds or earphones, since it's telling me I need to use some wireless earbuds. See how fast it can Google this. Earbuds. There we go. Search. And I used my pen. Well, okay. Well, this is interesting. So, yes, stuff definitely comes up, but look how tiny. Now, let me see if I can click on something and the page will expand. Oh, okay. So this is a touchscreen also. I can shrink or expand the page. Again, you guys, I'm just learning this with you right now. Oh, now look how big it is. Okay, so that's good to know. So you can search Google, Amazon. What else did I say? Go back to the web browser. Yeah. That's kind of neat. Okay. I like that. And then what else can you do? Oh, your reading list. I think that's when you can create your own reading list. Let me see if that's the case. Oh yeah, it just shows your history of what you've read, your reading list. Okay, in case you want to. All right, very interesting. Okay, so that's my new little gadget, my new little toy I've been playing with, the Kindle Scribe. And yeah, that's the one pretty much I'm reading in bed, reading at night, because my little one, oh, and I'll show you why also. Let's put it back in this case. I did get this case on Amazon. It's not the Kindle case. It's a third party that makes the cases. I love orange lately, so here's what it looks like on the outside. Why I chose this one, it has a really almost like a fabric-y soft feeling, while it's not necessarily fabric. It's probably some kind of plastic, I don't know. But it has the little kickstand. So this pops out, see, like that. So when I'm reading in bed, I just kind of put it on its kickstand and then I can just read it. I don't know, I'm really liking it. Now, of course, it's the winter. I haven't had the summer to try it necessarily outside or on the beach yet. I don't even know if I would bring this one to the beach, quite honestly. It's kind of big. I'd probably bring my smaller one, but I do want to try it outside, like under an umbrella. And then I like this case too because it has that wake up where you open it and it just wakes the Kindle up, which I love that. So it's pretty thin, pretty lightweight. And then look, it even has a place to place your pen. I don't remember the brand. It's just one of those Amazon ones. I think this cover was around $25, $30. Not expensive at all. And I like the orange because it matches my phone. I don't know. I've just been into orange, kind of coral colors, tangerine lately. Maybe because it's such a happy color. Okay, so I said this was going to be an info-packed session. I wanted to let you know about a website that I think is really interesting. When I want to know what the current infectious diseases are going around the United States, what are the things as a doctor I need to be looking out for patients, especially if they come in. I need to know what's going on so I know what symptoms to look for and to, listen to patients. So the CDC has a current outbreak list. And so basically it's cdc.gov/outbreaks/index.html. So when you go there, it's the latest outbreaks around America. And I'm going to read you some of them just so you can be current like me. Well, this was interesting. In December of 2022, the consumption of raw oysters was causing norovirus infections. So let me tell you, if eaten raw, oysters and other filter-feeding shellfish can contain viruses and bacteria that can cause illness or death. So anyone who consumes raw shellfish is at risk of contracting norovirus. Children younger than 5 years old, the elderly, people with weakened immune systems are more likely to have severe infections. Food contaminated with norovirus may look or smell or taste totally normal. So to avoid food poisoning from oysters, cook them very well. Do not eat them raw and try to get them to a temperature, you can check with those kitchen thermometers, of at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit. I myself am not a fan of raw oysters, but look at big outbreak, December of 22, which is just a month ago. So maybe just be advised about that. Or if you have a friend that likes to eat sushi, now you know, big outbreak of norovirus with the oysters. I don't know. I had a friend that got terrible food poisoning from shrimp, and I love shrimp. But I've noticed when I go out to restaurants, the menu, they'll have an asterisk by some of the shellfish that I like, and it'll say at the bottom, maybe raw or undercooked. And I'm like, well, I'm not ordering that. And maybe that's always been the case, but I am not going to risk it because she had the worst case of food poisoning. And I was like, yeah, I can't have that. So I thought that was interesting. There were some advisements on what businesses that serve food like this should do. So for example, November of 2022 through December of 2022, in the harvest area of Galveston Bay, Texas, they were recommending that restaurants and food retailers not serve raw oysters at all. And if they do, they need to print product tags about it. And the FDA confirmed that raw oysters harvested in the Galveston Bay, Texas area were potentially contaminated with norovirus and distributed to restaurants and retailers in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. It's possible that additional states received these, but these are the ones they know for sure they were distributed to. It does recommend throwing away any remaining oysters and wash and sanitize containers that they were in, wash your hands, yada, yada. You guys know all that. Hey, what are the symptoms of norovirus? Remember, we talk about that as the cruise ship virus. People that go on cruises are more likely to get norovirus. So diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, stomach pain. The patient usually develops symptoms within 12 to 48 hours after being exposed to the virus. People with norovirus get better within about 1 to 3 days, depending on their original health. With this illness, the big concern is dehydration because of all the vomiting and diarrhea. So the very young and the very old may need supplemental care like IV hydration, etc. So that's that. Let's go to the next outbreak on the list. So recent one, November of 2022, Enaki mushrooms were causing Listeria infections. So Listeria is a bacteria, and it's especially harmful if you're pregnant or over age 65 or have a weakened immune system. If you're in any of these groups, you should not eat Enaki mushrooms raw. You must cook them thoroughly. Investigators at the CDC are working to identify specific brands of Enaki mushrooms that may be contaminated with the outbreak strain of Listeria. Many brands of Enaki mushrooms have been recalled since 2020 when the original Listeria outbreak occurred. There has been 2 illnesses, 2 hospitalizations, 0 deaths, thank God, and it's occurred in 2 states. So here's some information because I wasn't familiar with what an Enaki mushroom was. It's spelled Enoki. They're white. They have long, thin stems. They're often sold in bunches with the roots in a sealed plastic bag. They're popular in Japan, China, and Korea. They're almost always in soups, hot pots, and stir-fried dishes. So in 2020, the CDC investigated the first known Listeria outbreak in the U.S. linked to Enaki mushrooms. They were recalled, and these were imported from Korea. Since then, the FDA and the CDC have been collecting samples from several states that are distributing Enaki mushrooms and found Listeria in many, many samples, resulting in 20 recalls. So it says the source of the outbreak, that the Enaki mushrooms are the source. Sick people reported eating Enaki mushrooms or eating at restaurants with these menu items. Well, what did they say? It says people, they just reported eating them at restaurants. Okay. So, yeah, here their advice is don't eat them raw. And, probably just stay away from them entirely if the criteria like pregnant, over 65, compromised immune system. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, I don't eat Enaki mushrooms. I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't. If it's in a soup, I didn't know. So I thought that was interesting. Another, Listeria outbreak. Okay, November 2022, deli meat and cheese. Well, I do eat deli meat. Let's read about that. Same indications Listeria is more harmful for you, pregnant, over 65, like I just said. Well, let's talk about this. Deli meats, cold cuts, lunch meats, hot dogs, and pâtés sold at the deli and cheeses are known sources of Listeria illnesses. Now, of course, this has been going on for decades. We've known this is the major source of Listeria outbreaks, and that's always been the case. Listeria can easily spread among food on deli countertops, deli slicers, surfaces, and hands. So, when you're chopping up lunch meat or cheeses, cold cuts, hot dog on your butcher block or your counter, you want to disinfect those things and make sure you wash your butcher block, wash your cutting boards and all that, because this is why, from Listeria bacteria. Listeria can grow at cold temperatures. Even in the refrigerator, it can survive. So you still have to clean those things well. Probably not a bad idea too. You know how sometimes you have lunch meat or hot dogs and it has that like juice in the bag and it gets on the fridge shelf? Those should just be cleaned very well. Well, let's see what else it says. It's difficult for investigators to identify a single food as the source of outbreaks linked to deli meats and cheeses because Listeria spreads so easily between food and the deli environment. And contaminated food likely introduced the outbreak strain of Listeria into delis in multiple states. So basically, they're saying in November of 2022, they were seeing extraordinary elevated amounts of Listeria illnesses. And then there's a map. You can click on it to see where the infections occurred. Let's click on their advice for preventing Listeria infection. I'm curious what it says. Oh, they do say Listeria outbreaks also have occurred in the soft cheeses, celery, sprouts, cantaloupe, and ice cream. Okay, what's their advice? It says the pasteurization of milk kills Listeria in dairy products. So I know a lot of people like to drink non-pasteurized milk or, organic, fresh from the farm. But I think good to know that was the reason that we started pasteurizing dairy, because it probably cut down on a lot of illnesses. That makes sense. So they say, if you're in the compromised group of people, make sure the label of the dairy you buy says made with pasteurized milk. Some soft cheeses made from pasteurized milk, such as queso fresco, have caused Listeria infections, most likely because they were contaminated during the actual cheese making process, not because it wasn't pasteurized. And then it says avoid eating soft cheese, brie, camembert. Did I pronounce that right? Those of you that know soft cheeses, queso blanco, and feta cheese. Oh, I love feta cheese, and blue veined. And if they mean blue cheese, I love blue cheese and feta cheese. So it says, avoid eating those unless it's labeled as made with pasteurized milk. Well, I'm going to look at that for now on, because I do buy those two types of cheeses. I just assumed it said pasteurized, but honestly, I've never checked. So maybe that's some advice for you. As far as raw sprouts, I used to love sprouts in a turkey sandwich. So they're usually grown in warm and humid conditions. Well, yeah, to grow sprouts. And these are great environments for the bacteria Listeria and also Salmonella and E. coli to thrive. So they say don't eat raw sprouts. You must wash them or cook them. Thoroughly cooking kills all the harmful bacteria. I don't think I've ever had cooked sprouts. When eating out, ask that raw sprouts are not added to your food. Well, that would cut down on the risk of food poisoning, and I've never done that. If my sandwich came with sprouts, I just ate it. So if you buy a ready-made sandwich, salad, or Asian food, check to make sure it doesn't contain raw sprouts. Rinsing the sprouts alone will not remove the bacteria. Homegrown sprouts can also make you sick if you eat them raw or lightly cooked. And isn't that the trend now? You can buy these little growing kits and just grow sprouts. So just know those can have bacteria as well. Well, let's talk about melons and cantaloupe. Okay, it recommends you eat and cut. Well, after you cut the melon, eat it right away or refrigerate it. It must be at temps of 41 degrees or colder if you refrigerate it, and do not keep it more than 7 days in the refrigerator. Throw away cut melons left at room temperature for more than 4 hours. Okay, I did not know that. Think of how many times you go to a brunch or a birthday party or a dinner party and they have the melon balls out on a tray and the party's going all night long. And at the end of the night, you wrap it up and you put it in the fridge. Nope, throw it away. If it's more than 4 hours at room temperature, especially if it's warm in the house, okay, that's good, because I literally do not want to get food poisoning. No, it's bad enough I just had COVID twice. No. And again, my COVID was very mild, but this is not a talk about COVID, so let's move on. Well, let's talk about hot dogs and lunch meats. Okay. Don't let juice from the hot dog and the lunch meat packages get on other food, utensils, food prep services, counters. That's what I was saying about the refrigerator. Clean out the refrigerator. Hot dogs. You can store open packages for no longer than 1 week in the fridge. I did not know that. And unopened packages no more than 2 weeks in the fridge. I can tell you right now, because I have a 10-year-old son and he loves hot dogs. I personally don't eat hot dogs. He loves hot dogs. Yeah, we've had them for more than 1 week in the fridge. So this is new information to me. Store open packages no longer than 1 week. I'm going to go tell my husband, because he does a lot of the grocery shopping. This will blow his mind too. Okay, good to know. Now it says you can store the unopened packages no longer than 2 weeks in the fridge, but I'm wondering if we put them in the freezer, we're probably okay until we open it. So I'm going to have to think about that. Okay, avoid eating hot dogs, lunch meat, cold cuts, other deli meats such as bologna, or fermented or dry sausages unless they are heated to an internal temperature of 165 degrees or until steaming hot before serving. Well, I know when I cook a hot dog, it's always steaming hot before I put it on the bun, so that's easy. Do not eat refrigerated pate or meat spreads from the deli or meat counter or from the refrigerated section of a store. Meat spreads and pate that do not need refrigeration before opening, such as products in cans, jars, sealed pouches, are a safer choice, but refrigerate these foods after opening. Huh. Oh, I see. So these are the recommended for anyone over the age of 65 or pregnant women or those with a weakened immune system, because I didn't really understand that. You should not eat any refrigerated pate or meat spreads. Isn't that new information? Maybe you knew that. But apparently you can if they came in a can and did not need refrigeration before opening. Interesting. Okay. Here it talks about smoked fish. Don't eat smoked fish unless it's canned or shelf stable, or it's in a cooked dish such as a casserole. Okay. Raw milk. I know a lot of people think it's healthy to drink raw milk. I'm not going to go into that whole topic, but it does say to avoid food poisoning for those in the risk group. Only consume pasteurized milk and milk products such as ice cream, yogurt, soft cheeses that have been pasteurized. Milk products should be 40 degrees Fahrenheit or colder in your fridge. So I have a fridge thermometer. I do. I think my mother gave it to me, so it's really old, but it still works. And isn't that the case? Something that was made in the 40s, 50s, and 60s literally still works today. Something made 5 years ago that was probably not made in the USA. It doesn't work. It doesn't last. It's so frustrating. But you might want to check the temperature in your fridge. Make sure it's 40 degrees or colder. I mean, that's how cold the fridge should be anyway. Okay, where am I at now? I know this is a very long video, but I wanted to chock it full of information. If you're still with me, let's check and see if there's any other outbreaks. So I'm going to go down the list and we'll see if we want to read about them. Okay, so October 2022, there was an outbreak of salmonella among bearded dragons. I may need to click on that. In May 2022, there was an outbreak of hepatitis in children. Now, I remember that when they were having outbreaks of hepatitis across the country and we didn't know what was going on. I do remember that. And I had my own ideas of what was causing that, because what was new that we were recommending for children in 2022? I'll let you answer that yourself. Something I'm not on board with, by the way, for children anyway. Okay. And then, and here it says January 2020, the coronavirus outbreak. Well, yeah, I think we all knew about that outbreak. And right before that, August of 2019 is when, you remember everything we ever heard was about vaping, the dangers of vaping and popcorn lung, and how dangerous is that they're marketing to kids. So that was the big outbreak of August 2019, was lung injury associated with vaping. You heard about all these hospitalizations. I am certain it still occurs, but we just don't hear about it in the media because we've moved on, right? We've moved on to the big C, which is, COVID. And then before that, 2019, raw milk, there was a big outbreak of drug-resistant brucella. Now that's another bacteria you do not want to get. Yeah, I just, I am a naturopathic doctor. I just don't drink raw milk. I'm just not going to risk it. And then of course there was a measles outbreak in 2019, and then it goes down to 2017. So, we've had just a lot of outbreaks. Okay, well, I thought that was helpful information. I hope you are having a wonderful week. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. You can hit the notification bell. I am at the point right now of just trying to get a video out at least once a week because it is kind of fun. Still going to do it. Okay, see you on the next one.